Pinto moves all in.
Oh my days, what a player.
Who's bluffing in this spot? Ahead of time, he makes the call. Kovalski puts this night to bed.
Well, looks like it's round to the big blind, and of course, Dan Wilson could see a free flop, but probably will want to raise here with queens. I would say this is a limp fold spot. I mean, it shouldn't have been a limp to start with. Let's just scratch that and say this should be a fold. But it looks like we're going to see a double Gibbons.
Oh, Zaffy. Sasha, no.
Double Gibbons executed with queen 8 offsuit. Case queen one time. No, but an 8, which might keep Zaffran interested in this pot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and Wilson's feeling pretty nice about this flop. You got that backdoor spade as well. You expect your opponent limp calling is going to be all over this kind of texture. All those Jack X hands, you know, the 10-9 suiteds. And into 26-5, that's 12,000. I like the, you know, a bit chunkier sizing. You see a lot of down bets sometimes, but in a spot like this where you unblock the board, right? Your opponent's going to have those 8X and Jack X hands. And that looks like more than 12,000 to me.
Zaffran has just raised to 26K.
See where you're at. It's a move. It's a vibe. It's a little outdated, but it's a move. And now the question becomes, is Wilson prepared to put in a third bet on this flop to get in, you know, the near 200,000 at 2,500 big blind? And you might just want to keep those bluffs in there because you don't necessarily even want the queen 8 type hands to just be folded out here. You know, you'd think that if there are many more chips going in here, it's only going to be by hands that beat you oftentimes. So why not just play it a little cautious?
Okay, well, the ace of spades on the turn, so Wilson now has a spade draw to go with queens, which is the best hand, has 95% equity, has checked it to Zaffran, who quickly checks behind. River for free, which is the king of clubs. Now, there is potential here for Zaffran to bluff Wilson off the best hand.
Yeah, with a very rare kind of run out in the 2 overcards that could possibly come. Does shrink up the relative value of Wilson's hand.
Wilson checks.
Zaffran certainly aware that he isn't really beating anything here. You know, pocket 7s wouldn't have bet called the flop. So it's hard to check here, even though you have a pair of, you have some form of showdown value. The last time you went for a bluff in a spot like this, you got called. Do you have it in you? And how big do you need to bet? And what are you going to get to fold? Now, your opponent did bet call a bet on the flop. Ace, king, ace, queen, those don't do that, right? Those hands are folded out. So your opponent should have something like 2 queens, something like maybe 2 10s.
Okay, well, we do get the river bet from Zaffran. 78.5 in the middle. It's a bet of 46,000. Do we see a hero call from Daniel Wilson?
It's not an easy call to make. I mean, you know, if Zaffran was kind of clicking around with an ace-X type hand, might find this bet on the river. Certainly King-Jack is deeply in his range here. You know, the small raise on the flop for kind of value / seeing where you are. The check back on the ace turn, the river of the king. You do block a lot of spade combos with that queen of spades. You'd think that a lot of spades would have bet the turn.
Zaffran's called the clock on Wilson, pushing him to make a decision. 30-second countdown has started.
Would be sick if he folded and then showed him the queen of clubs. But that could also still be queen 10 or ace queen, I guess. Come on, Wilson. Wilson! Put him in there, put him in there. Yes! The call.
makes the call as the counter hits 0.
That's how you do it, baby.
Raise pre-flop, got the call by Betbese. Bet flop got called again. Now putting in a healthy bet on the turn. Nearly half of Betbese's stack to call. If you are up against
I'm okay with a 4.
a pretty decent value range here from your opponent, then Queen Jack does not look as strong as it would appear.
Man, oh man, this pot's getting pretty huge.
River card is an 8. I mean,
he's a dealer, so he might know a thing or two.
Yeah, about a third pot left in Betbese's stack.
yeah.
Just put them all in here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get called by, you know, worse kings. You know, you have ace king, best kicker here. If you think you'll get called by king X, jack X, of course, you know, there's going to be a lot of hands that are going to be willing to call here. You got to get max value.
I can take a 3.
I understand that you're giving your opponent a lot of credit, you know, if you just decide. Obviously, the flop call, no problem. You have to come along with the queen jack. In the turn, if you think that your opponent isn't just raising pre-flop from the small blind
That makes me undefeated.
with the top of their range
We did it. Let's go.
and continuing flop and
I needed
turn
it, man. I'm sure.
with
I
that
just
strong
missed the gut
range,
shot
then
straight flush draw against
of
Nacho.
course sometimes you're gonna have to look
you
them
won't
up
get-
with
We're gonna
jacks
see.
and sixes in this spot. But obviously in a really, really tough position here on the river for their tournament life now against a triple barrel.
He's made the call,
Wow.
and he is out. Home. Betbese's taking me home. Betbese's taking me home.
3-bet to 110 thou.
Sinclair sitting on about 97 bigs now after the 3 bets. Kanji, 48. He is going to come along. Kanji being out of position with these 8s. Obviously, an ocho would be easy game. But
It's never easy.
no help. Queen 5 tray. This is where it gets tricky. This is where you got to take it to the streets, Joe. You're going to expect a c-bet pretty much all the time from Sinclair, regardless of what he has.
Well, Kanji's still ahead right now with the Snowmens.
I definitely have ace queen, and I am betting it.
Chad is
Now.
asking, do you think it's a good move to 3-bet a7 suited? If Jack Sinclair is doing it, the answer is almost 100% going to be yes. But also, yeah, absolutely. We've spoken about it a little bit already. Very frequently, we do want to be playing these suited aces as 3-bets from position.
If he just gets ace to fold here, that's pretty cool. Nah, not happening.
No, Kanji doesn't get to where he is at this stage in the tournament by just giving up with 8s on this kind of a texture. He has backdoor diamonds too, which of course doesn't make him feel super confident, but it does make it slightly less likely your opponent will have the flush draw that you have to be concerned about, and sometimes gives you a draw that you can complete and try and get to showdown a bit more frequently. Honestly, I think that Jack Sinclair knows to defend here so often. He's like, he's probably got 8s. I can just get him off now. It's cool. I'm just going to make it like 2-10.
No way I'm folding 8s now.
I mean, he picked up a straight draw. Let's not forget that. The ace to 5. I don't know if Sinclair misses the bet here. He does go check check though, and the king of clubs, another overcard against those 8s.
This board doing everything it can to scare Kanji.
Well, he has checked a third time. A reminder, Sinclair bet 85,000 on the flop. Check back the turn. Will he take the showdown value with ace high on the river?
It was a really quick check is the thing, Joe. It kind of feels like he's got exactly what he has at this point, right? So even though he missed the turn bet, there is an opportunity to try and rep that king. It looks like ace king might have c-bet and then just like bombs river.
Yeah.
What if he just makes it like 400K?
The 8s kind of face up, as they say.
300K instead.
Yeah, he's gone for 3/4 pot, Nick. 300,000 into 430,000.
These guys are so good. So good and so mean.
Now, don't know a lot about Aleem Kanji. Do know he's had some decent scores in poker, though. More than 200K in live earnings.
Is it okay to say that no matter what happens here, I think both players did a great job?
Absolutely. You can say whatever you want, Joe. I think it's also okay to say that this call is not completely outrageous. If you're playing, you know,
No, it's a great
player
call, but
like
I also
Sinclair.
Sinclair will lose the hand, right? If Kanji calls, but I still think it's a well-played hand by Sinclair because
No,
this clearly could go either way.
Yeah, 100%. And at some point when you have two very good players playing against each other, they can both make moves that are just awesome, and you just catch them on the wrong day
Someone's
and they're
got
making
to
the
win,
calls. Yeah.
someone's got to lose. Yeah.
Well, Kanji has now played 2 time bank cards. A reminder, the shot clock is running right through until the end of this tournament now. 30 seconds per decision unless you utilize a time bank card to get yourself additional thinking time.
Oh, my man. He's just going, how much do I got left if I make this call? And the answer is
Not a lot.
not tons. I mean,
Well, it's more than half his stack, right?
yeah, it is.
Kanji
Yes.
finds a call and wins a huge pot of Jack Sinclair. Bluff picked off, and Kanji chipping up.
Let's go.
Pocket fives, presto for Darling. Not shying away from playing pots with at least one killer and one maniac. Atoui, no hesitation, Jack 7 offsuit. Let's go.
Yeah, this guy's not scared.
King 7-4, 2 hearts. It is always coming 7. Atoui outflops the 5s. Darling quickly betting 5K. Atoui going nowhere. Atoui and Atoui.
Atoui for Atoui. Jack 7's still the best of it. I don't know if maybe the quick call might have been a tell there, guys. So he might try and load up another bet. I like a really chunky size here, though. You got to go like at least like 15K.
How about 20?
I think 20 is probably preferable here. Very nice sizing here, and maybe picking up on that tell that I mentioned just now. Although we did previously see Atoui is definitely one that is not afraid to call. And he's not scared by the bigger bets.
Atoui Giga Chad.
And sure enough, 8 of clubs on the river. Now don't check too quick, Atoui. You got to make it look like you got a king so you can win this pot. They're a little bit slower that time. And at this point, the hearts have bricked. Some straight draws have missed. So 5s is like, well, I could just have the best hand right now. What if this guy just has like ace 3 of hearts and he just bricked everything? Why would I turn my hand into a bluff? But he might also have picked up on that tell that we mentioned on the flop, and he is not going to allow his opponent to win it with a 7. So 66K in the pot, decides to bet. 45,000. Yeah, chunky.
Really
Chunky,
goes
chunky.
for it. Man, what I've seen of Atoui thus far, I think this could go either way.
Honestly.
Oh, getting the read.
He's confident. He's a confident guy. It's not absurd to make this call.
He is not at all stressed about this bet.
I really like the fact that the 5s have gone 3 streets here. It just shows that he does have a good read on the situation. He is aware that 5s isn't probably going to be a hand that he wants to take to showdown here, even though, like I said, it is a somewhat favorable run out to just try and check and possibly take it down against some missed draws. Makes the call.
Got him. Caught by a 7.
All right, nice answer.
Atoui, pretty impressive. Jaros, pocket 4s in the cutoff.
Hello.
Ace, queen for Kovalski. Starts the hand with 35 big blinds. Too much for an all-in, but could certainly call on the button, is what I was going to say.
Wow, yeah, he's playing it slow here in position. Ace-queen suited, a very, very, very playable hand in position. And you see what he's doing here, Joe, and you've identified it. He doesn't want to go too crazy pre-flop here.
Oh, Pinto.
Uh-oh. Shields,
Oh boy.
shields up. High is 3.1472.
Just a call.
Okay.
All right, we're going 3 ways to this flop. 4's the slightly ahead for now. King 6-3. Everybody misses. So 4's way ahead now. Kovalski does like to hit his turns and rivers, though. Pinto checks, Jaros checks, Kovalski in position. Kovalski checks as well. Turn is another king. So 4 is way, way good. Could potentially be counterfeited by a 6.
Oh, dear.
But Pinto is going to try to bluff at this. I mean, could this work? 350 into 1.8 is maybe the sort of bet someone would make with a king.
I mean, I think it's just not enough to get Jaros to fold. I mean, he's got a good price just to spike a 4 on the river and make the boat.
Right.
It's ridiculously good pot odds here. If you wanted to try and represent a king.
He's like, I can't. Oh, I can't believe I'm folding this.
Yeah, you can tell it pained him. I mean, Kovalski kind of has a similarly strength hand to the 4s here. Like if your opponent doesn't have a pair, you're pretty much going to be good like every time.
If this is what it is, which is a very lame bluff attempt, ace high is getting a great price.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's actually interesting because ace queen probably has 2 live cards a lot of the time. He might be doing this with, pocket 4s himself, pocket 2s, pocket 7s, something
Even
like that.
Even if it's not a bluff, right.
Yeah, I
Even
think
if it's like a weak value bet.
Yeah,
the river is an 8. So Kovalski does not improve, does have the best hand. Pinto moves all in.
Oh my days, what a player.
What an absolute boss. Shoves with queen jack high.
Oh my God, Joe, the hero call.
Who's bluffing in this spot? Oh, Kovalski's asking for a count. It's more or less a pot-sized river, shove, bluff.
Joe, the hero call would be unbelievable here.
It sure would. Is this how we're gonna end the night, with a hero call from Kovalski? He is really giving this a think. Kovalski smirking at himself. Can't believe what he's thinking about doing right now. Last time bank card.
Oh, the drama.
Is Pinto, the relative amateur, gonna make a bluff like this in this spot at this time of night for this amount of money on the line?
Joey, he shoves so quickly on that river. I don't know if that might have been a tell.
Nick, that's a great point. That is a great point, as if the river didn't matter at all, as if he had decided ahead of time. He makes the call! The hero Kovalski!
Wow! Unbelievable, he's done it!
Kovalski puts this night to bed with the ace-high hero call.
Let's go!
Pinto went